Hello, how are you today? I trust I'm looking a little bit more festive with my little holiday sweatshirt. You're going to see sweatshirts probably now till May. I'm one of those people like winter's not my thing, but I love living in Connecticut, so chances are, I don't know, I don't think I'll be going anywhere anytime soon. In any event, how is your holiday season going? Are you able to still put on that smile every day? I hope so because, in truth, there's no reason not to. Oh, I want to give you a little heads up. Um, in a couple minutes, there's going to be a beep, 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 and I'm going to get up and run over to my stove and take my banana bread out of the oven. My timing didn't work quite according to plan, and so it wasn't ready yet. So I'm going to be grabbing it out of the oven. I just have to check and make sure it's done. And that was a great adventure. I don't know if you watch Project Runway, and I think that any of you would laugh if you imagine me watching Project Runway, a fashion show, a show about, fashion. I'm probably one of the most low maintenance people I know of in fashion, but I love to watch it. I love to watch the creativity. Well, on that show, one of the co-hosts was a guy named Tim Gunn. Now, he still comes back. They had a special kind of fashion thing right before COVID started, canceling shows and everything. So it hasn't been back. But Tim Gunn said one thing that I think we should all keep in mind. He would say, make it work. So whatever kind of faux pas happened as the fashion designers were creating their gowns, dresses, outfits, whatever, and they'd go, I don't know. And Tim Gunn would say, make it work. And I would like you to hold that thought today about making it work. Whether you feel like everything's wonderful in place or if you're feeling down, want to give you a little heads up about another thing. Take it for what it's worth. I used to teach astrology. I was a student of astrology for years, and I taught it. And you don't have to believe in it. I don't care if you believe it or not, but just like you to take in consideration for the next 2 weeks, we've got two particularly challenging configurations coming up in the astrological realm, and they're going to be kind of challenging. So if you feel particularly challenged in the next 2 full weeks, just think to yourself, you know what? It is what it is. It came to pass, not to stay. So, and then you might say, maybe Alicia's got a point there. I don't follow it that strictly anymore. I just, let the universe roll, and I see my chart as something that helps me understand who I am in general. And sometimes if someone asks me to do their chart, I do it, and it's not fortune telling, in case you think it's fortune telling. It's all about energy. But everything, I believe, is all about energy. Anyways, speaking of which, I have to go and do my research. I forgot to do it. I meant to do it before today. But there's going to be a configuration of the planets, I think around December 21st, I think it's December 21st. And it should be the closest alignment to create what would have been, what the Star of Bethlehem would have looked like. So that's kind of exciting, isn't it? If nothing else, it's great to look at. Out here at Grand View, we literally have a grand view. The place used to be a resort, so the sky is wide open, and there's some trees here and there, but on a summer night sometimes I'll just hang out, walk around the campground, and look at the folks with their campfires, telling them stories or not, and soaking up the beauty of the sky. And then on winter nights sometimes that is so cold you can hardly bear it, and I'll look up and you understand what the word star spangled means. It's just, and it's so cold I don't want to stand outside and look too long, but you know what? Those things cannot be captured in pictures. They just can't. Back to where we were. Whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're going through, we want to remember what Tim Gunn says. Make it work. Ah, yes, I was just verified by my dear Cheryl. She's my checkpoint person, and she confirms December 21st is that day. So, Lord willing, we're not going to have clouds or anything. We'll be able to go out and look at the sky and see the stars or the configuration and think, there was once a very special star in a time of great change. And right, for the next few years, we are literally moving into, astrologically or astronomically, moving into what is called the Age of Aquarius. So for all the things we're suffering right now, we want to remember that, really good times are coming. And that does not negate a wonderful past and a learning from our past, especially the parts that weren't so wonderful, because they helped us to be more of who we are today, So I have a couple things I wanted to share today. Oh yes, one of my very special parts of Christmas is my Christmas book. Not mine that I wrote, mine that I enjoy. Every year I get a new book to read at Christmas time. Because I don't take a lot of time sitting and turning pages, I've got such a hyper personality. Sitting and turning pages is really hard for me. And a lot of times when I sit down, I'm gone, But there's something about that Christmas book. There's something about holding it in your hand and having a cup of coffee or tea or hot chocolate or whatever, and reading a story about Christmas. When I used to drive to work almost an hour each way, I would listen to the books on tape. Now there is a book that I love. I had it on audio tapes when it was on audio tapes. And I had it on CDs when it was on CDs. And now I have it on my Audible. I stream it. And it is a must listen to for me every year. You have a pen and paper in hand, pencil, anything? Write with your eyebrow liner? I don't know. This book is called, it's by Mae Finchie, and it is called This Year It Will Be Different. Oh, I know, everyone's used to sappy, soggy Christmas stories, sugary sweet. But this one is so quirky and so odd and so wonderful. Every year. It's not Christmas for me unless I've listened to that book. I encourage you to you can get it on Audible. You can listen to it this afternoon after I'm done. Go on Audible, and if you don't belong, join it. It's a great thing. That's how, busy people that are, flitting around all the time, or people that just don't sit around. I find a hard time just sitting. And so even if I'm watching television, I'm doing something else. It's just the way I am. But those books on tape. And you learn so much and you enjoy so much. And my This Year It Will Be Different book, that's just for pure pleasure. So we're talking about making it work. I want to tell you about my banana bread. which we're waiting any moment now for the timer to go off, and I will trot into the kitchen and see if it's done. It started out last night. I had a couple bananas that were like, ready to be made into banana bread. I don't know why I don't just buy them ready for banana bread at a discount price. I still have this illusion I'm going to eat them before they get bread ready. Well, I had these 2 bananas, and I had 3, and one of them kind of fell on the floor and became beyond banana bread. So I said last night, I'm going to make the banana bread. And I started to get things together. I buttered the dish it was going to be put in, and I got out my bowl and melted the butter and started to assemble everything, only to realize I had no eggs. It's like, no. Now, I know you can substitute, things for eggs like applesauce, which I didn't have either. So I just said, well, tomorrow I'll borrow an egg from my sister and I'll make the banana bread. Then I kept thinking, I only have 2 bananas. What does Tim Gunn say? Make it work. I happen to have in the refrigerator some leftover whole cranberry sauce that I made for Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's like jelly or jam or something. It'll last in the refrigerator for a very long time. And when you're only one person, you can only eat it so fast. I said, if that's good, I'm going to toss that into the bread. Well, I got to tell you, it's got the 2 bananas. It's got the whole cranberry sauce, cranberries, and the sauce. And it has a big cup of chopped nuts. I mean, that thing is so beautiful. Now, then you come to the adjustment. Well, there's sugar in the cranberries. Do I need to add extra sugar, less sugar? What do I do? And that's the great experiment of life. And so I tweaked it a little, added a little less sugar because there's sugar in the cranberries and the sauce. Don't know what it'll be like, but and I won't even know when I'm talking to you still, because by then I have to wait for it to cool, It's the right thing to do. But it's all about making it work. Things don't always come out the way you planned them. Sometimes they come out delightedly better. But the only time you try to avoid making it work when you're cooking is if you're having company and you don't have a backup plan. A backup plan is really important because you don't want to have to serve somebody something that is not really that great. There's another really important thing about cooking, and that is your attitude when you're cooking. Yep. Oh, that brings me to another book. I think I might have talked to you about it before. It's a book, it's a movie, and I'm sure you can get it on tape, although I had the actual book. And it's called Like Water for Chocolate. It's a book about and I probably even mentioned it in this series, a book about a young girl named Tita. And Tita was not allowed to get married because her mother was widowed. Widowed. Excuse me. And she had to take care of her mother till her mother died. So she couldn't get married till her mother died. Well, and I did tell you this before, didn't I? Okay, so I'm going to... You can go back and look at the other... if you didn't see that video, you can go back and look at it. Long story short, everything Tita cooked, her energy went into. So whoever ate the food she prepared, they would feel what she was feeling. I have found that this really is true about our cooking because everything is about energy, the flow of energy. If I'm not in a good mood, I can cook, but it might not be as good, or if I'm nervous, it won't come out as good as I normally cook it. But when I am in the flow, when I made that banana bread, I would say 99.99999% banana bread's going to be delicious. I was in a great mood, I was cooking it, and I was rolling with whatever happened. If it doesn't come out good, nobody else is going to know but me, because nobody else is going to eat it. Make it work. Whatever is going on in your holidays, if you're having challenges, do the best you can. If you're, if your house isn't decorated they want, if nobody can come to your house, if you can't be with the people you love, make it work. Just keep thinking about that. There's always a way. So I think it was wonderful that today, as I was making banana bread, it is also National Pastry Day. Ta-da! National Day Calendar. Don't forget to look it up every day. It's a lot of fun. It's also Christmas Card Day. And I found when I read up on it that Christmas cards have been around since like 1758 or something like that. It's pretty, and it took a while. They didn't catch on right away. And well, we all know today, now of course the electronic Christmas cards are more likely than anything else. But I remember the days of mailing and receiving dozens and dozens. That was wonderful. But you know what? This is a great time to really enjoy the Christmas cards. Send out Christmas cards, even if you haven't in years. Doesn't have to be a store-bought Christmas card. You can make something. You can make a Christmas letter. If you think you're bored, my dear friend, there is no reason to be bored. Bored people are boring people with the genius we've been born with. There's no reason to be bored. You know what? I'm one of those people. Give me a piece of shiny paper and I will entertain myself for quite a while. Simple or genius? Who knows? Sometimes the biggest thing we have to adjust is our attitude. I was thinking about that today too. I jokingly call, if like at the when we do girls' weekend, the first evening is a social evening, and you might call it happy hour because people get together at those hours to. That's a typical term for having some cocktails and relaxing, shifting from your work a day up tense tight to sit back and relax. Then I thought about, you've heard me talk about it before, the 4 quadrants of consciousness. 2 of them are in the manifest realm, the human thinking, and the other 2 are the spiritual, higher consciousness. I thought, you know what? Happy hour's down here because we're looking for something to adjust our attitude from the outer realm. Something from outside in. But attitude adjustment hour, that happens in spirit. That happens by lifting our consciousness. I thought that was very interesting, and so when I'm not going to call happy hour attitude adjustment any hour anymore. I'm going to learn to really understand what attitude adjustment and happy hour, how they're different, because you don't need anything from out there to change your attitude in here. Okay, so today is another day on the National Day calendar. Now, don't get silly before I finish what I'm going to tell you. Let me finish the whole thing. I know you're going to get smirky at first, but today is Weary Willy Day. What do you make of that? What's the image that pops into your mind when you hear that? Well, what it is, what today celebrates as far as Weary Willy goes, is clowning. Like clowns. And here's a very sad thing. Weary Willy was the character created by Emmett Kelly, a very well-known clown back in the day when being a clown was acceptable. Weary Willy had a cigar in his mouth and a very sad face, and he kind of walked around like that, and he just did silly things, and he was wonderful, and I loved it. Today, people go, I don't like clowns, they're scary. I don't like clowns, clowns are scary. Well, they've made clowns scary in the movies and stuff. What a pity. One of my favorite moments of by the way, this won't surprise you. There was a time in my life when I thought that it might be fun to join the circus and be a clown. I thought that, and if you've been around, especially if you've been in my Sunday services when I preach, you'll say, yeah, she got some of those clown genes going on. It was that or a trapeze artist, and I guess none of that worked out due to my fear of heights and stuff. Anyway, one of my favorite clown experiences came from watching TV, and they had the Russian circus. And they had these two Russian guys, clowns, and they were just doing their usual clowning around stuff. And one of the clowns took the other clown's shirt, and he reached out and he pulled on his chest, and he twisted on the shirt, his t-shirt, and he twisted these two little spots, and he let it go, and it looked like the other clown had little boobs. It was hilarious. And in that moment, I was probably 13, 14 years old, but in that moment I thought, but the Russians are supposed to be our enemy. I had that moment of knowing we're really all alike. We've got to learn how to be alike. We've got to enjoy and soak up the oneness that we are. I am so grateful I had that thought when I saw those clowns. And I think it's so sad that clowns are considered scary now. You know, humor is one of the best things. I was listening to something the other day about when you're having a really tense conversation. Now, this is something good for the holidays if you will be shuttered in with your family or in some other way communicating, and you know a tough issue comes up and you're having those difficult discussions, like heaven forbid they happen, although I like to ban them in my if they're going to get testy. I like to ban political discussions. I like to look more at positive ideas than personal this and that and pros and cons. Anyway, that if your conversation with someone is starting to get a little tense, you try to break it with a harmless, a friendly kind of laughter, and that puts you both in a friendlier place, you see? So if a conversation's getting tense, try to find something to make it funny, and then you it's like pushing a reset button on the conversation, that you can go in a better direction. So I think that's a really positive and wonderful thing. So I wanted to show, this is the book that, this is not going to be my Christmas novel. I don't mean that I would write, I mean that I am going to enjoy. This is a very old book, and it is called The Other Wise Man. It's by Henry Van Dyke. This was gifted to someone. This came out of the old hotel. We used to have a hotel at the campground, and somebody found it. I found it there and took it. And this says, "To Mary with every good wish. From Evelyn, October 7th, 1946. I was just a baby then, just a little over a year old. So this was a pretty old, and that's when it was gifted. You know, it was written, let's see if it says here. This is a classic. And I can't see where it gives the initial publishing date. But, oh, yes, copyright 1895. Then it was renewed in 1923. So, that's going to be what I'm going to read for my little Christmas read. I hope you think about getting one. It'll be really, you'll really be happy if you get the one I'm suggesting. If not, oh well, I guess we just have a different sense of humor. And what else might take care of your boredom? I have another thing, and that would be, this is my water glass today. This is a wine glass that we painted for Girls' Weekend a number of years ago. And if you can see, it actually, what it says that you can't see on it is crabby till I get my wine. I was making a match for my crabby till I get my coffee. Now you don't put this in the dishwasher. I've washed it by hand over and over. And the writing on it didn't stay really well, but I didn't really do it well, and I didn't spray it. But what I'm trying to tell you is this paint has stayed on this glass so well. This is made with acrylic paint, and this is on a Dollar Tree glass. So you get a Dollar Tree, you can get coffee cups, you can get all different kinds of things. Just remember, don't put it in the dishwasher. You can even find YouTube videos on how to paint these and make them last. Basically, we paint it and we gave it a quick sealer spray. You don't have to give it a sealer spray. Some of the recommendations were to put it in the oven at a very low temperature for an extended period of time, an hour or two or something like that, so it really kind of baked it in. But this is done with the spray. I have used this, and I don't use it all the time, but I've used it at least more than 50 or 60 times, easy. And this is like 3-4 years old. So you could really, that's a great family activity. Sit around the table. The acrylics are washable right away, after they settle on. They're there for a while, so you got to clean up well. So that is another great thing you can do. There is no excuse to be bored, okay? One last thing. This week, if you're lighting your Advent candle, this week is peace. And so I would like you to work to find that peace within. If in fact the coming 2 weeks are going to be as challenging as they appear, and the pressure comes on, oddly enough, on December 14th. Yeah. If you don't know what that is, ask. Okay, December 14th is the day the Electoral College makes their vote. So there's a lot of people that are like hanging on nails by that. I'm trusting God and all the information that says everything's going to be great. And even though you go through the challenges, it's the challenges that make us strong. One of my heroes, a man named Cabot Robert, said, "We only grow strong in the crucible of adversity." Speaking of adversity, we're in the getting to be a bad hair day. So that means you will very soon get to see my cosplay wig. Yep. Maybe tonight at my False Gods video, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and my hair might look a little better. Who knows? Maybe I'll decide to give myself a haircut. You're gonna have to tune in to find out. Thank you so much for being with me today. Don't forget, you can go on YouTube and get all of our historic, hunkered down, blah, 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 blah holidays on YouTube. Okay, have a great one. See you tomorrow. We'll play again soon. Bye-bye.